My beautiful friend, Mimi Donaldson, I am so honored to have you here today. Please introduce yourself to the audience.
Oh, thank you, Francesca. It's a pleasure to be here. Introducing myself, I have been a keynote speaker in that professional keynote speaker career you think you want for the last 30 years. And I started coaching because my friends were asking me to help them with their speeches. And then one day a woman said, the 7 words that changed my life. She said, Meme, I would have paid you for this. I went, what? And so I became a speaker coach. I've had 18 people so far on the TEDx stage. I love that format. So I coach for that. And also I coach people who want to get paid to speak, keynote speakers. And I coach business owners like me to talk about their business and to really answer the question, what do you do, whether you have 30 minutes or 30 seconds?
I love that, Mimi. That is so important, whether we're working for ourselves or someone else. We always have to be ready, or we always should be ready to explain what we do in a way that attracts people in, right? Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you have a magical formula and you're smiling because I love when we connected initially, and and there were 5 magic words. But let's talk about that 30 seconds versus 30 minutes and what we want to say in that time span when we meet someone new. Again, whether we're working for ourselves or someone else, it's still truly important in how you present yourself.
Exactly. And what I've learned over the past 30 years is that the audience wants to go like this. You want the audience to smile and nod, and they want to smile and nod because
Yeah,
they're getting it. They want to get it. They want the words out of your mouth to be understandable and, oh yeah, yeah, that's exactly what I thought she'd say. So in order to do that, you must answer the questions in the listener's mind as
mm,
they're asking them. So
mm,
that's the whole basis of actually talking to people in personal life as well as business life. The
sure.
first question in their mind, as I like to say, the cartoon bubble above their head, like in the comics. So if you read those questions above their head, it says, why should I listen to you? What's in it for me?
Mm,
That's what they're asking. So
yeah.
what you do, whether you have 30 seconds or 30 minutes, is you lead with their need.
Lead
You
with their need. Okay, got
lead
it.
with their need. In other words, you pinpoint a situation, a problem, or a need that you know they have because you've done your research on who you're talking to. And please, and you start out with that so that they'll go, oh, oh, she knows us. So that they'll
Right.
go from this with the arms crossed, looking at you sideways, to uncrossing their arms, leaning forward and saying, oh, okay, yeah, you're connecting with me. That's me.
I
So
love
that's
it.
what takes the research. And that, whether you're doing 30 seconds or 30 minutes, that's what takes the research.
That's
And
what
for
takes it.
keynoting and TED Talks too, you've got to know what problem you're solving. Otherwise, forget it. People will go
Right.
away.
So there has to be a clarity in the message, right? There
Yes,
has to be an understanding and a clarity. You know what it is that you do, and there has to be a direct communication of that, right?
yes. And it's meeting expectations. They're going to ask you first, do you know me? Why should I listen to you? Then they're going to lean forward and say, okay, you know my problem. What you got? What's your
Mm,
solution? And then you better
mm.
say that concisely too. And it's on the homepage of your website, people. It always is the first sentence. But
Right.
that's step number two. Here's my solution. And then the third question they're asking is, well, who are you? Why are you the one? Aren't there a bunch of speaker coaches out there?
Right.
And
Right.
then you tell them your most famous thing to give you credibility. So those three steps, here's your need, here's my solution, and here's who I am so that you will give me money. Those are the first three steps.
So the third step is credibility.
Yes.
Where does trust come in there? Do you have to establish trust? Where does that come in?
It's so interesting. Trust can be simply a function that you were chosen to speak. Someone
Mm.
has trusted you to speak in front of the Zoom meeting or in front of a live meeting. That in itself builds trust. You're the speaker.
Got it.
That's number one. Number two, if people are smiling and nodding like you are when I'm talking, it means they're getting it. Trust is
Mm.
being built because you're giving them an opportunity to go, I got that. Yeah, I got that. Yes, I understand that. I see. So you're making them smart, which they already know they are, but now you're confirming it, that
Yeah.
you know they're smart, you know they can take it in, that they can take in information, and you know they can judge you with their judgment, that it's trustworthy. So you're trusting them first to get it. And then,
Right.
of course, human beings are reciprocal beings and they
Right.
will give you their trust back. But first, you have to trust the audience and answer their questions. I'm not in favor of going up to the front of the room and saying, Hi, I'm Mimi Donaldson. Here's my story. I think you'll be interested in my story. No, really not. Unless you're a celebrity. And I've spoken for a lot of celebrities. And the
Mm.
reason people show up is they do want to hear their story. But the
Sure.
most wonderful speakers, celebrities I've ever spoken with have never started with their story. They've started with the audience. They've done their research. They're really good. And I
So the
admire.
research, making that connection is so critical in the very,
Oh,
very beginning, because then you have our attention, right? So
critical.
I love the tip that you share in, doing the research. What if you're meeting someone for the first time,
Mm,
like on an elevator, for example,
well,
right?
oh, elevator. Well, that whole elevator thing, if you want to get into that, they say, here's your elevator pitch. And then they proceed to tell you it lasts 30 seconds. No, it doesn't. Here's the elevator. You're in the elevator for 1 minute. Here's the name tag and your name tag. And that's why people say hi. And you say hi. And they go, what do you do?
Right.
Because they see Mimi Donaldson, speaker coach, but they don't know. And they're just making conversation. And you answer with a question. And you say, well, you know how some people hate speaking in front of a group? And they'll either go, yeah, me, or yeah, my sister-in-law, yeah, my brother. And you'll go, I help with that. Those
Mm.
4 words, I help with that. Because you want them to ask you more questions. And they go, oh, really? What do you do? And I go, I'm a speaker coach. And by that
Mm.
time, you've reached the floor. They've reached their floor. Then they ask you, ideally, do you have a card? And you say, sure. And you hand it to them. That's the elevator pitch. It's one sentence. It's a question that starts out, you know how, and you look at the person and you size them up quickly
I
to
love
see
that.
what's the need that they might have for your services. And it's the same kind of research, only you do it like that.
Right. Mimi, that is so brilliant. That's the first time I've heard of that, example. Like start with a question, because like you said, you start this 30-second elevator pitch and they've already left you. I
They're
love your
gone.
approach. They're
Well,
gone.
it's also comedy. We are in a golden age of comedy right now. There's a comedy channel and you pay per view. There's all kinds of comedy stuff. There's
Right.
stand-up comedy all over Netflix. So when people hear, you know how, they immediately go, oh, it's going to be fun, because that's what the comics do. They say, you
Right.
know how, we're in line and we're bored, and so they do this, you know how. So if you do, you know how in your own personality, and then you touch on a need they have, they'll go, yeah, I do have somebody I know has that need.
Right. Right. Oh, it's so incredible. That is such a great connection. I can't wait for everybody to hear this. It's
This is,
unbelievable because
and it works no matter what
and it
profession you're in.
right, it works no matter what profession. And also, if you're in person or virtually, because a lot of us have, that's all that we've been doing for the past 2.5 years. Now we're back out in person for the most part, but there's still a lot of there are a lot of meetings happening virtually that command a response. What do you do? And
Right.
I love that approach to be able to share it with, everyone who I connect with.
Well, the casual approach, like in the elevator with the you know
Mm,
how, that works sometimes. Most often, networking meetings with all these little faces on the Zoom all
right,
over will give you 30 seconds
right.
or they'll give you 60 seconds. And you're
Mm,
being judged as to can you follow the rules.
right, right,
So I always tell people, come in under the bell. Don't let them ring a bell on you because that is an unspoken message that she thinks she's special. She can't follow the rules. Don't give anybody that reason to think that about you. And the 30 seconds, you can get a lot in. You can do the whole thing, and you can do the solution,
right,
and you can say who you are. 30 seconds is a long time. The elevator is 5 seconds.
right, right. It's a long time when you know exactly what you want to say, but I really love how you just said, come in under the bell,
Come
come
in
in
under budget. It's
under
like
budget.
people's time is their inventory. That was a big part of my time management speech. I made people say it like a mantra. My time is my inventory. So
Yes,
it's like you don't have a bunch of widgets in the garage. Well, if you have a service industry, your time and energy are your inventory, and you
a
must be
hundred.
frugal.
100%. I love that so much. Yes, especially for those of us in the service industry, time is our inventory. It's our most important asset.
That's it. And so
Yay.
people go, yeah, but Meme, how do I do 30 seconds? How do I know when it's 30 seconds? Well, let me just tell you, I wrote it out on index cards this size. And I used to have it this way. Now I have it this way.
Hmm.
When you have 30 seconds, no harm if you bring a card up to the front of the room. And not only that, Zoom, you can hold it right under the camera and
Right.
I'm cheating now, and I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at you, and nobody knows. Oh, she's so fluent. She really knows what she's talking about. Well, yeah, it's all here. And
Yes, that's perfect. I love that so much because, I mean, these are tips that, again, I haven't heard before, but this venue where we are right now is going to continue. So we can have our little cheat sheet, if you will. And like you said, I love how you said
absolutely,
it's okay if you bring it to the front of the room. It's perfectly okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
If I can put my hands on one, you won't believe it. This is my first one that I ever had. Are you ready for this? This is a real
Please.
card. This is a real by 4x6 card, and this is what it looked like.
There's so much writing on it.
Yeah, but look at the fraying on the edges and the editing, and this is a 30-second pitch. And then I did another one. Then I did another one. Notice
Wow.
they're all written out. No harm in this. And I'm a professional speaker. And when I went up there in front of the room, you had to go in front of the room at the early networking years before the COVID. We went up in front of the room, and
Right.
everybody was like, oh, she's a speaker and she still has a cheat sheet. Yeah,
Yeah. That
people
is
get
so
up in front,
perfect.
have 30 seconds and they go, well, thank you for having this meeting. I'm enjoying meeting all of you. You've already taken 10 seconds of your time.
Right. Right. It's so important. It's almost a third of your time on hesitation. So how has that intro changed for you over time? Has it gotten more specific? What's changed?
Well, at first, I didn't even use my own formula. At first, I
Really?
used to say, because most of the networking groups require you to say who you are, what your company is, and what you do. So I would go, I'm Mimi Donaldson, your speaker coach. Together, we'll write your perfect marketing speech. So it was kind of boring,
Right.
but it still got the job done. But if you
Mm,
have the guts and the confidence to be a little bit different, I would lead with the need. I would
perfect.
lead, and I would lead now with my favorite one now is you all know the number one fear of people. public speaking. I mean,
Public
that
speaking.
you just put that out there and everybody nods and smiles, which is what you want. And
Yep.
then you say, that's what I do. I'm Mimi Donaldson, your speaker coach. And then here's how I stick in my most credible thing. Remember step 3, who are you?
Mm-hmm.
Why should I give you money? Okay,
Right.
so together we'll use my 30 years of keynote speaking experience in front of audiences of thousands with celebrities, which you don't have to do, then they giggle, which you don't have to do. We'll write your perfect marketing speech.
I
And then,
love.
and then I do the call to action. Please, I'll put my email in the chat. Please, whatever. I'm
Right.
so
Right.
sick of the chat. But I'm putting my email in the chat. Please email me for your free 30-minute clarity call where you get clear and we discover if we're a match to work together or something like that. So
Something like that. Yeah.
you do your call to action at the end and you're only taking 30 seconds. Everybody's admiring you because you've got so much done in 30 seconds.
Right. And right, immediate call to action. It's just, these are important marketing tactics, and you're just clarifying them for us here so we can use them verbally. So thank you
Right.
so much for summing those up. So in all these incredible meetings, my dear Mimi, what's your favorite piece of clothing or accessory, and how does it make you feel?
Oh, I'm such a jewelry girl.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally this morning I thought I want to wear my ring, and so literally it was a Tahitian pearl. This is the Hong Kong one that I got in Hong Kong, which is my Hong Kong souvenir. Then of course I had to get a ring to match, and then of
Right.
course the earrings also have the Tahitian pearl. So I love pearls. You're either a pearl girl or you're not.
Or not.
So my favorite piece of clothing, I usually start with what jewelry do I feel like wearing and then pick the clothes out afterwards, which is mostly not what people do.
Well, it worked for you today quite beautifully. So, regardless of what you start with, you ended out with a beautiful selection. So, I thank
Oh,
you for
thank
sharing
you.
that so much. Well, you have so many great tips. If someone wanted to continue the conversation with you, Mimi, where's the best place for them to find you?
Very easy. MimiDonaldson.com. Just like it's spelled, all one word. My website, it'll give my phone number and my email on every page, I think. And you can
Great.
sign up for a free 30-minute clarity call.
Well, I encourage everyone to do that. I will put the link in the show notes. You were just fantastic today in sharing so many critical tips for us to do better. Thank you so much for your time, Mimi. I appreciate you, and thank you for making the world a better place.
Thank you.